Dear students, dear colleagues and business people, what I'm going to speak about today in this short online presentation is really very essential for business communication. By the way, this topic is called First Impression, and this topic is included in the module for Business English teaching at the University of Plechanova in Yerevan branch. Well, as far as you understand, I'm going to speak about first impression, how to make a good first impression. Of course, this is an imperative nowadays for any kind of business, be it an educational sphere or a productive sphere, a production. Well, ancient Greeks spent lots of time thinking, considering, and writing about effects that could one person only make on another one. And if this effect is really positive one, then we understand that in business communication, their future cooperation, their future partnership is becoming more and more visual and realistic. Well, I would like to mention that what I'm going to speak about in this presentation is not only for business people. It could be very useful also for undergraduate, postgraduate, graduate students who are in active search for a good, well-paid job, and in future for participating in job interviews with their future and potential employers. And in future, it could be also very useful for them for shuffling up the ladder and making a very good career, prosperous career. Well, now let's pass to the presentation part of our meeting and discuss everything minutely. So, your first business meeting, what to say or how to say? Well, what do you think? This is a rhetorical question. Just answer for yourself. What is more important? What to say or how to say when we meet the person for the first time in our business meeting? Well, what is more important in first face-to-face business communication? Our words or our hairstyle. This is not a sarcasm, this is not a joke. But when we meet someone face-to-face for the first time, our body language and appearance is much more important than the choice of the words. When we go to a first meeting, of course you understand that, it goes without saying that when we go to the first meeting, business meeting, we should wear more formally than usual. Well, this is as simple as that, more formally than usual. Well, take complete control over every detail of your grooming and your personal appearance. Well, resolve to look like a very powerful, influential personality. Once the first impression has been formed, this is very crucial, just remember, once the first impression has been formed, you have to work much harder to change it. So how we dress, the way our hair looks, how clean our shoes are, all these matters, and so does our body language, and our handshakes, our mimics, and gestures. It all accounts, I would like to grab your attention, it all accounts for 55% of our impression we form. So appearance, body gestures, and not the words, not the actual words that we are going to say. Appearance and body language account for 55% of the first good impression. What is more important in business communication on the phone? Well, in this globalized world, we understand that business processes are continuously going on and on. So sometimes people are in time pressure and they do not find proper time for face-to-face meetings, and lots of things in business are conducted through phone and on the phone. Well, when the first meeting is on the phone, the choice of words is not quite as important as how our voice sounds. Just remember this. And the successful deal, the successful conversation depends about 70% on the tone and only 30% on the choice of the words. Well, just understand that it's really very easy to detect whether the person who are speaking to on the phone is lazy, intelligible, or unintelligible. The tone of our voice detects everything. The way we answer our company's phone will form our customers' first impression of our business. One more thing I would like to pay attention, that not being seen does not make you invisible. So lots of things, for example, the tone of our voice makes us visible, even talking on the phone. Well, phone answering tips. Now, I'll give some 4 or 5 phone answering tips. Maybe you think that you know all this, but in some cases, just during the practical usage of on-phone conversation, we forget about it. When we answer the phone, we need to be warm and enthusiastic. The voice is the only impression of our company a caller will get. So his colleague, and the first impression is not the office, is not the premises of our office, is not our professionalism, but just our voice. Welcome them politely and keep your voice volume moderate. If you have to keep them waiting, always ask if it's okay to put them on hold. And if you're putting them on hold, then come back quicker later and ask if it is okay to wait, and tell that it's longer than you expected, and just ask them to recall later, or even you suggest to recall them later. If you don't understand something correctly, ask them to repeat or to spell. Very often when we speak to foreign partners, lots of proper words or proper nouns, they are much more difficult for a foreigner to understand. So we need to spell. Ask them to spell, or if you are going to say some proper names, then you spell it yourselves. Next point, I'm going to speak about messages. Just check messages completely and correctly. Grab your attention to the thing that even you understand that all these messages are not going to be so crucial and important for your business, just take them completely and accurately. Every person, every client needs some attention and respect. And if you do this like a committed employee, then they feel that they are dealing with a business with high reputation, and they feel valued. This is very important for any business. If your client feels that he is valued, he or she is valued, well, they need attention and respect. That's why respond to all calls better within one business day. Well, tips about how to make a good first impression now in case face-to-face meeting. Very shortly, listen 10 times more than you talk. Smile and make eye contact. Looking someone in the eye conveys that you are confident and interested in what they have to say. Shift the spotlight. So what does that mean? Never think about what you can get. Just concentrate on what you can provide to your clients or to your potential clients. Put everything else away. Don't check your mobile. Don't look and glance at your monitor, because in this case, people feel that they are not valued. They are not so important for you, and your mobile phone messages become more important in this case. Well, put them aside. Don't check it. Show that other people are more important. Well, you already know about, you know about your points of view, you know about your perspectives, but you don't know what other people know. That makes other people a lot more important in this situation than you, because you can learn from them. So these are 5 very short tips for making a good first impression for a face-to-face meeting. So listen 10 times more, smile, make eye contact. This is very important. Shift the spotlight, put everything else away, and show that other people are really very important for you, are more important than anything else at that moment. Now, I would like to grab your attention again to 2 very important points. According to psychologists, it takes only 7 seconds for someone to form their first impression of you, even before you had the chance to open your mouth. So no words, just appearance. And the sound of your voice in this case accounts for 38% of the first impression. 7 seconds, only 7 seconds. And if it is a job interview, or then within these 4 or 5 seconds, the job interviewer has already made decision of employing you, about employing you or not employing you, or rejecting. Making good first impression for most people, it takes a little less than a minute. It's easier to make a good impression than to change a bad one. So work over your first impression, plan everything, all your steps, because it's much easier to make a good impression, and it is much harder to change a bad one. Well, I spoke about first impression, right? But what about last impression? Don't forget about last impression. Well, now I would like to introduce a very simple picture. You see a woman coming out of the office, or I don't know, maybe it is a shop or an office, and what is she thinking? She thinks, wow, they are so nice, I can't wait to come back. So what made her think of coming back to this office, to the premises of this office or business? First of all, the employees, their phrases, the tone of their voice. Thank you, we appreciate your business, see you next time. So all these phrases and the atmosphere, warm and committed atmosphere, made woman think that she will come back. She would come back to this business. Well, people say all the time that first impression is very important, but I would say that last impression is even more important, as it leaves lasting impression. Well, what about last impression? Several tips. Make physical contact twice before leaving. Physical contact promotes bonding and makes you more likable and memorable. So make contact not just once, but twice. In a job interview or client meeting, give a good, warm, and confident handshake. One more very simple tip, be sure that your hands are dry. End with eye contact and a smile. You leave behind the impression of someone who is open, straightforward, and warm. And the last thing, send a follow-up next thank you note, so to say thank you note. Sending an appreciative text or thank you note is a really nice touch, and it extends and solidifies the warm memory people have formed about you, and they will remember about this later and later. So what is more important, you will ask now, first impression or last impression? Well, which one leaves a lasting impression? Honestly, they both do. The first impression sets the tone for what lies ahead, and it sets expectations. The last impression is what we are left with. It's probably what we'll remember most about the partner, client, or a company, or a job interviewer. However, you will not get one without the other. So they are interconnected, and this interconnection is very close. There won't be a last impression if you don't get the first impression right. One more thing, I just want you to remember. Well, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So once you are given this chance, you will never have the second one. Well, now I'd like to summarize once again what we have discussed in this short presentation. Before going to a first meeting, face-to-face meeting, be it a business meeting, be it just a job interview as an applicant, you're participating as an applicant. So just look for all these items in this presentation. Once again, just look for them. Well, plan all your actions step by step. Be sure that your appearance is really formal than ever, is more formal than your usual appearance and grooming. Well, I want to mention once again, I emphasized for several times within this presentation that once the first impression has been formed about you, it could be very hard, much harder to change it. So better to make first good impression than try to change the bad one. Well, I really hope that this presentation will be of some help for you, and I hope that you will have will be of some help, and I hope that you will have a very good, positive experience of making a first good impression, whether it is a business meeting or you are going to participate in an interview for getting a well-paid job. Hope it was really useful. Thank you for watching.